A fake delivery driver with a real gun. Pierce County deputies say they've made an arrest, and they have a warning for you tonight.
Question for the day. You are an 11-time felon. You have committed crimes in Seattle mostly, but you find yourself in a neighboring county, and you are arrested wearing a UPS uniform. You're caught on surveillance casing different properties. You have a bunch of burglary tools on you, and in addition to that, you are caught monitoring the police alert system on your cell phone while you're walking around. So what do you do? By the way, you have a firearm as well on you when you're caught by the police. When you are caught this dead to rights? Well, if your answer was fake a seizure in the worst way humanly possible, then you might be Heather Bevier of Washington State, who decided to do just that, and comedically so.
What are you doing? What are you doing? That is the worst fake seizure I have ever seen. Knock it off.
I like how the police just call this out for exactly what it is, which is in fact the worst ever faked seizure attempt that they've seen in all their years on the police force. And by the way, one of the things that makes this even more entertaining is the fact that they decided to actually administer the proper medical care for a seizure, and this woman or male, I don't even know how this person identifies, because in the body cam, this person is described as a dude, but in the local news affiliate, they are described as a woman, ends up getting angry when they decide to provide the appropriate medical care for a seizure, like, hey, what the hell are you doing? This is making me uncomfortable, thus shattering the already thinly veiled illusion that this person was seizing up. And this is what we're going to talk about today. This body cam, what the police have to go through, all the craziness associated with this crime. But before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
Thanks for joining us for Fox 13 News at 5. I'm Matthew Smith.
And I'm Hannah Kim. Investigators say the 11-time convicted felon was casing houses dressed in a fake UPS outfit. Fox 13's AJ Janival talking to investigators about how you can stay one step ahead of clever crooks.
So one of the things that makes me laugh about this particular case is that it is told to us and sold to us by the local news affiliate as something to watch out for. They're going to give you some very interesting tidbits and information to avoid being attacked by this kind of person. But in reality, all you have to do is be rather observant, because this supposed UPS driver didn't come from a UPS truck and ended up wandering around the back parts of people's properties, went into some abandoned properties, and obviously this person is quite suspicious, which is why one of the neighbors ended up calling the police on her. Now, in addition to that, Heather had an excuse for everything, and by excuse, I mean terrible excuse, and one of the excuses for having a firearm while being an 11-time convicted felon was that she just found the thing and thought it looked cool.
I didn't do anything wrong.
You're being detained. Sit down. Sit down. Otherwise, you're going into handcuffs. There's two ways to do this. This isn't Seattle. Get your ID out.
My ID is in my car.
Okay. Put your hands right here.
Okay, sir, I'm not.
Put your hands on there.
Hold on.
I'll tell you what you look like. You look like a prowler.
What is a prowler?
Put your hands on there. You're going to get dumped on the ground. You understand that?
What is a prowler?
A prowler is someone who goes door to door checking to see if houses are going to be unoccupied.
In broad daylight?
Yeah. You're wearing a UPS uniform. You clearly don't work for UPS. Stop talking. You want me to answer some questions, right? So I'm explaining to you what a prowler is. Okay. That is a prowler.
I'm sorry.
You're wearing UPS and you're not even UPS.
I'm sorry.
You've been parked there for 8 hours. You're coming from a drug house. So stop.
Where's the drug house?
What's your last name? Oh, pardon, look at this. You're getting detained. Put your hands in your bag. Is that a fucking gun? What is that?
I don't know. I found it.
451. You done with your frisk or no?
No, I'm not. Just felt something hard. I looked like a gun, and then apparently it was a gun. Are you a felon?
No. Yes. I didn't know that.
Oh, look at that. Felon in possession of a firearm.
That was like a real gun. I've never seen a gun that small. I just found it, sir.
Now, to be fair, I am not in favor of felons possessing firearms, especially dangerous people like this, who of course has that firearm, in my opinion, so that if she were to encounter somebody in a home that she thought was unoccupied, she could either shoot that individual and or hold them at gunpoint in order to make her escape, which again makes this person insanely dangerous. That being said, this little derringer, this small pistol that the police have an inordinate amount of trouble trying to unload.
I'm still trying to figure out how to unload this.
Guys, I'm not kidding, I promise.
What's the problem with you?
I can't breathe.
Well, now your car's
Just take some slow, deep breaths.
Does in fact look really cool, is in fact an interesting find, and of all the things for a criminal to be carrying on her person at the time that she's committing this burglary as somebody dressed up like a UPS driver, in my opinion, this is one of the coolest ones. Now, of course, she should face the serious felony charges associated with this, and it looks like, or it looked like at least from what these police officers said at the moment in time that they made contact with her, that this is exactly what they were going to do, because they repeatedly told her this was Pierce County, this was not Seattle, you are not going to be treated like you were treated in Seattle. However, we have to make it to the end of this local news segment before we actually discover if this is in fact true. That being said, I think we are overdue for another look at that fake seizure.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
That is the worst fake seizure I have ever seen. Knock it off.
Again, just brilliant performance right there. I'm so surprised that this didn't work.
Investigators say the suspect was even using the Pierce County scanner app to monitor any sort of police activity to make sure that they weren't on her tail. I got a chance to speak with sheriff's officials here today who gave me information on what you can do to make sure you stay safe from any sort of similar crimes.
I'll tell you what you look like. You look like a prowler.
What is a prowler?
A prowler is someone who goes door to door checking to see if houses are going to be unoccupied.
Daylight?
Yes.
An answer for nearly everything. As investigators say, 37-year-old Heather Bevier donned a phony UPS outfit Sunday evening and stalked through a South Hill neighborhood.
She had burglary tools on her. She had shaved keys. She had everything that would indicate she was definitely out prowling people's yards.
Do you have any guns or weapons on you?
No.
Put your hands on.
Investigators say that was a lie.
This is a weapon?
No.
You're getting detained.
Probable cause documents I obtained say the 11-time felon with convictions of armed robbery and identity theft had a loaded Derringer on her.
Very scary situation for anybody.
Now again, it doesn't take a Sherlock Holmes, it doesn't take a Batman, it doesn't take any form of super detective to figure out what exactly is going on in this particular case right here. This woman has basically a sign hanging over her head permanently saying, "I am guilty," 11 prior felony convictions. A lot of those convictions are for armed robbery, identity theft, and other related stuff. And what is on her person at the time are the burglary tools, written down information of people's credit cards. You also have a bunch of other things that would indicate that she is about to do something incredibly bad. And like I told you earlier on, she's monitoring the whole entire situation through an app on her phone. In addition to that, she's also incredibly bad at faking seizures, which I think deserves just another play for us right here, just for a little bit.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
That is the worst fake seizure I have ever seen. Knock it off.
I'm sorry, guys, but that part of the video and that body cam is just too funny. But this story's about to get a little bit more serious in just a little bit, so I hope you enjoyed that laugh, because we have to get to what actually happened to her. What were the consequences for this obvious attempted armed robbery or armed burglary?
I mean, we want our packages to be delivered, and we want to be able to trust who's delivering those packages to our house.
Investigators say Bevier had bullets, meth, a notebook with people's credit card information, and was using the Pierce County scanner app to try and stay a step ahead of the police.
It's possible she was listening to everything that was going on, but she figured maybe her costume, dressed as a UPS worker, was going to be sufficient to get through.
It didn't fool investigators, and sheriff's officials say Don't let it fool you.
If you know that you're not expecting any package or any reason that a UPS or a delivery person should be at your door, you shouldn't be answering the door. Or talk to the person through the door, ask them why they're there.
Now look, that's the advice that you get right there, which is if you're not expecting a package, if somebody shows up just wearing a UPS uniform, you shouldn't denote a level of trust upon them. But the fact is that this isn't really helpful advice for a number of reasons. First and foremost, we do expect UPS people that we do not recognize to be in and around our neighborhoods multiple different times a day, and they could be delivering to your neighbor, not necessarily you. And based on the proliferation of Amazon delivering absolutely everywhere all the time, it's just not that suspicious for a UPS person even to show up at your door if you didn't order a package, because they mess up addresses all the time. I mean, every so often, I end up going out in front of my apartment building, finding packages that are for my neighbor across the street or down the way or whatever, and it takes up a couple of minutes of my day just to correct the mistakes of these UPS people. But what I would recommend in these particular circumstances is one of those video doorbell systems, because what ultimately ended up leading to part of her arrest or part of her charges was that somebody on the body cam ended up showing up with footage of her.
She's on camera knocking down one of the cameras at the burned down house.
Oh.
And she did admit to being at the burned down house.
So this is, so I see this.
Yeah.
So she's going all the way, right? Going there. And then there.
I'll go talk to her. I thought you told me you didn't go in that burned down house.
I didn't. I just walked in.
Homeowner's got video of you.
I didn't go inside
There's
of it.
cameras there.
I did not
What are you
go
doing on the
inside of
property?
it. I was just looking at it.
Why? Is it your house?
No, sir.
Then why are you looking at it?
I didn't go inside.
You went on the property. For what?
I was just looking at the burnt stuff. I
For
didn't
why?
go inside.
Why?
I don't know. I was bored.
All right. I'm done with this.
I'm not...
Showing that she went into an area that had a no solicitor sign that was a burned down building that, of course, she had previously denied going to. Now, of course, she changed up her story and said, actually, I was a fan of the house and I just wanted to look at it. No criming going on right here. But based on all the other burglary paraphernalia that she had on her, it seems clear what was going on in this particular case. Unless you're an absolute idiot, unless you're dumber than the suspect in this particular crime, you can figure out what's going down.
Now, according to those probable cause documents, Bevier later admitted to law enforcement that she was in the neighborhood to burglarize a house and wearing the UPS costume to avoid suspicion. She's held behind bars on a $25,000 bail.
Now, what did I tell you right there? This woman ends up ultimately admitting that she was there to burglarize. It's clear and obvious to everybody that that was the case. But of course, the consequences of that iconic line, "You're not in Seattle anymore," doesn't really hold weight when you end up putting her up on just $25,000 bond. And as we talked about on this channel, typically you only have to put up 10% of a bond to go to a bail bondsman. So that $25,000 could very easily just be $2,500. And then this woman could be out on the streets despite the overwhelming evidence that we saw and the 11 prior felonies.
So here's the problem we have, okay, is you're in a neighborhood you don't live in, dressed in disguise with a loaded gun in your pocket, wearing gloves, with a face mask on, dressed like a UPS driver. What the f*** are you doing?
I don't know. I'm bored. I don't have any
You're
friends.
bored?
I don't do anything.
It looks like you're fixing to kidnap somebody.
Sir, I promise. I promise. I just don't know how to be normal in this world. It's so much crazy.
I mean, again, as fun as her faking the seizure actually was, and that's why I decided to play that portion of the video multiple times, in reality, this is a story of a failing criminal justice system. This is a story of a system that does not hold repeat offenders, dangerous individuals accountable. What is the point of having restrictions on felons from owning firearms if there's no actual consequences for said restrictions? You have 11 prior felonies, 11 prior robberies, burglaries, armed robberies, armed burglaries. You have identity theft. all these different various things. And of course, you have a whole host of pieces of evidence in order to ensure a conviction, but we only get a $25,000 bond, and we don't even know if that's a secured bond, so she could be out if she puts out $2,500. Everything this person did shows that she's dangerous. Maybe at this 12th time that she's caught committing the same felony again, she was willing to kill somebody, and that's why she had the firearm on her in order to avoid going back to jail. I mean, she was already ready to fake a seizure in order to try to avoid going to jail, so who knows what this individual would do. Also, I want to point out that they found a meth pipe on her, which means that this is also a drug addict in this particular case, and that makes her more dangerous. Yet Pierce County acted just like Seattle does, just like Kings County did, where they end up releasing her or giving her the opportunity to be released relatively easily. And that's really the heart of the issue of this particular story. That, and of course, the fake seizure.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
That is the worst fake seizure I have ever seen. Knock it off.
And that's where I'm going to leave this particular tale. Now, of course, I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. As per usual, if you like this video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about an absolutely crazy case out of Washington State. Till next time.